We are here. Philadelphia Eagles fall to the San Francisco 49ers 17-11 out there in Lincoln Financial Field. A game where the Eagles are going to look back on and say, we let one get away. A game where Philadelphia dominated the first half in terms of yards. A game where Philadelphia pretty much, defensively in that first half dominated the 49ers. Get the 49ers. I mean, look, the 49ers are a very good football team. And that team is so good where if you're not scoring touchdowns when you have an opportunity to score touchdowns, it's going to be difficult for you to win the game. And Philadelphia dominated that first half. Before that final drive that the 49ers had that scored that touchdown in the first half, Philadelphia out-totaled San Francisco 204-64. So they had the yards, they were moving the ball, but they could not get touchdowns. And you let a team like the San Francisco, if you don't score touchdowns against a team like the San Francisco 49ers, you're not going to win. It's just that simple. San Francisco is too good. This looks like a championship caliber team there in San Francisco in terms of what they have on the defensive end. The injuries are going to be the killer. The injuries are hurting this football team, but what they have on defense, and if Jimmy G can just be solid, they're going to contend. They're definitely a team that is going to contend in the NFC. But again, Philadelphia had an opportunity, had a chance to win this game. And again, they're going to be kicking themselves throughout tonight, tomorrow, until next week against the Cowboys. They are going to be kicking themselves. But the key thing was that moment in the first half where, Philadelphia had that long pass to Quez Watkins, 91 yards. You were backed up, 91 yards to Quez Watkins. You're in position at that point. After that play, you had first and goal, I believe, at the 6. You got a penalty. You had first and goal at the 1, and you could not cash in. You tried to roll out the Philly special on 4th and goal. Greg Ward ain't Trey Burton, and Jalen Hurts ain't Nick Foles, and ultimately it didn't work, and ultimately that was the game. San Francisco got the ball back, and from there, they drove the field. They got a big touchdown, and before you know it, Philadelphia dominated the first half, outplayed the San Francisco 49ers, but before you know it, at halftime, it's 7-3, and the Philadelphia Eagles are trailing. And at that moment, at that time, you're saying to yourself, man, all that for nothing. And then you had the situation, you had the long pass to Jalen Reagor, seemed to be a touchdown, but it was called back after Reagor had stepped out of bounds initially before he caught the football, before he established himself in play. And ultimately, Philadelphia went for the field goal, and it was blocked. And that block, again, you're instead of 3-0, it could be 6-0 at that point. You get that, and it's a block, and you don't get no points in that particular situation. Tough situation for the Eagles. Tough deal there. And now Philadelphia, instead of being 2-0, is 1-1, and heading. They got Dallas next week on Monday Night Football. The hated Cowboys that they hate the Cowboys. Cowboys hate them, and Philadelphia now had an opportunity here. Here's bad news for Philadelphia. There are reports now at this point that Brandon Graham may have torn his Achilles. So you tear your Achilles, you're done for the year. That's a career-threatening injury. So Brandon Graham, you got Jeff McClain from the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's reporting that. So it's not a good situation there. Derek Gunner's reporting that as well. So it's a bad situation for the Philadelphia Eagles. Brandon Graham, your heart, your soul, a guy that's one of your leaders on your football team, he is now probably out for the year. It's a tough situation for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a tough loss, man. Brandon Graham is your heart, your soul, one of your leaders of your football team. And now you don't have him. You don't have him for the season. That's tough, man. That is tough, and that's going to be tough to replace. Here it is. Brandon Graham, Jeff McClain is reporting, along with Derek Gunn. Derek Gunn, from what I'm told, Brandon Graham's done for the year. Achilles, and then Jeff McClain from the Philadelphia Inquirer. I can confirm the same about Brandon Graham per NFL source. Not a surprise considering how the injury occurred. Brutal loss for the Eagles. BG is the team's heart and soul, not to mention still one of their best defenders. So there you have it. Brandon Graham out pretty much, according to reports, out for the year with a torn Achilles. So, and again, that is a career-threatening injury. And when I saw it, I mean, I'm a guy who tore his Achilles. So I experienced it. I know what that looks like. And when I saw the replay, I said, that didn't look good. And that could be a torn Achilles. I texted somebody, that could be a torn Achilles there. That could be a torn Achilles. Those non-contact injuries, man. No, non-contact injuries always turned out to be not so good. And the Brandon Graham situation, that non-contact injury turned out to be not so good. Brandon Graham is 33 years old. So, obviously medical technology has changed over the year, but it's so difficult to come back from an Achilles injury. So difficult to come back from an Achilles injury. And now it appears that Brandon Graham, your heart, your soul, one of your leaders of your football team, is going to be out for the season. They also lost Brandon Brooks in this game to a chest injury. Hopefully that's not anything serious, because that could be, if anything's torn, that could be a season-ending injury as well. So a lot of things for the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, that Brandon Graham injury, that's a brutal loss. That's a brutal loss. And now, Philadelphia falls to 1-1, had an opportunity to win this game, an opportunity to get it done. And look, this Jalen Hurts, he had that big pass to Quez Watkins for 91 yards. But other than that 91-yard pass to Quez Watkins, he threw for 99 yards. Other than that 91-yard pass to Quez Watkins. I mean, and, you have that opportunity, that chance to score a point. You have to score them in that situation. It was a 14-point swing, and that 14-point swing pretty much, I'm not going to say was the game, but it changed the momentum. You had an opportunity to go up 10-0 at that point. You go up 10-0 at that point, the way your defense is playing, the crowd is into it, everybody's into it, everything is going, the momentum is on your side. It's a whole different ballgame. But instead of going up 10-0 and into halftime possibly, now you go into halftime down 7-3. The momentum is different. The momentum has shifted. Whatever you had on your side has changed, and now you don't have the lead. So Philadelphia had an opportunity there to put themselves in prime position to win a football game, put themselves in prime position to go up 10-0 against a very good San Francisco 49ers team. This was a winnable game for the Philadelphia Eagles. But this is kind of what separates the good teams from teams like the Philadelphia Eagles at this point. A team that, we're not expecting the Eagles to be world beaters in 2021. But obviously the NFC East is a very winnable division when you consider the Cowboys situation, when you consider the Washington football team situation, when you consider the Giants situation. I mean, the Giants, a team now 0-2 for the 5th straight season. You got Washington, who's having issues with their quarterback situation, and they didn't look that great against the Giants on Thursday Night Football, a game they probably should have lost if it wasn't for Dexter Lawrence going off all sides on that field goal. So you got Washington, who's struggling a little bit, and then you got the Cowboys, who are out there against the Los Angeles Chargers, a very good football team. It seems like the Chargers are going to be this year, big-time quarterback, it appears, in Justin Herbert. But Dallas, you got La'el Collins and that whole suspension situation. Michael Gallup, in terms of injuries there. DeMarcus Lawrence and his situation in terms of injury. So Dallas is banged up a little bit. So the NFC East is going to be a winnable division for the Philadelphia Eagles and anybody for the NFC East for that matter. So, yes, we're not expecting, I don't think anybody's expecting the Philadelphia Eagles to be world beaters in 2021. I don't think anybody's expecting the Philadelphia Eagles to be a very, very good football team in 2021. But hey, again, this is a team that looks like, after 2 games, here's one thing that's certain. Defensively, they look pretty good defensively. Obviously, losing Brandon Graham for the rest of the season, as it appears, as it's being reported. Again, Brandon Graham reportedly out for the rest of the season with a torn Achilles. But looking at this defense, defensively, especially on that defensive line, which appears to be the strength of this football team, Philadelphia, again, is going to be in football games because of the way that defense played. That defense played good football today. You played good football. You gave up 17 points. You kept your team in the game. You gave up only 7 points at halftime in the first quarter. You didn't allow the 49ers a first down in that first quarter. So you did, in theory, the Philadelphia Eagles defense did their job today. And on the other hand, the San Francisco 49ers defense did their job as well because they kept the Eagles out of the end zone for the most part. Kept them out of the end zone. But you know what? This was a game, when it's all said and done, they're going to be kicking themselves. They're going to be kicking themselves. So what did I like? What did I like in this game? I definitely liked what I saw defensively. I love what I saw defensively. They were solid defensively. I mean, you held 49ers to 17 points. You held them to 17 points at 7 points at the half. You played. You got after Jimmy G a little bit. You know, you played good football. You didn't get any turnovers, but you played good football. You held Jimmy G to 189 yards passing. They ran for 117 yards on the ground, 38 attempts. So I believe that's about 3 yards a carry. So that's solid. So you defensively, what I'm liking about this defense is they're getting after quarterbacks. And they're decent in the secondaries. You know, Nelson Island. Steve Nelson appears to be an upgrade from what they had a year ago on the other side of Darius Slay. So that's an upgrade, what they have in terms of Philadelphia and what they have on the defensive end of the football. But again, this is a tough one. This is a tough loss because of what happened and the way you played and the opportunities that you had in this game. And then you go back to that drive in the fourth quarter before the Eagles scored that touchdown. You had the situation, Derek Barnett with the costly 15-yard penalty. And Derek Barnett, over the years, has been a guy that's got himself involved with some silly penalties, silly personal foul penalties. A guy's been a little chippy, a guy that's been doing those type of things over the years. And again, a 15-yard penalty in that spot, in that situation, when you're trying to get that team off the field, trying to get your offense back on the field. I mean, if Derek Barnett does not do that particular penalty, that's a 3rd and 15. That's a 3rd and 15. You know, the sticks are on your side, the yardage are on your side, and you do that. You do a silly play, just a silly play, man. It had nothing to do with the play, and you hit the running back. Had nothing to do with the play. Play was over. And you make a silly mistake like that, cost your team 15 yards. Again, you allow the 49ers to waste more time. And ultimately, in that particular drive, Philadelphia used all 3 of their timeouts. So they were out timeouts. And ultimately, if Barnett doesn't do what Barnett does in that particular situation, Philadelphia gets off the field more than likely. They probably get off the field. There's no guarantee, of course, but 3rd and 15, it's very difficult to come up with a play and devise a play for 3rd and 15. So more than likely, Philadelphia gets off the field. And so that's a tough one. That's a tough play, but that's what young players do. That's what young teams do, I should say. It's a boneheaded play by Derek Barnett, and he cost his football team. He cost his football team in that particular situation. And then he had the penalty of Kayvon Wallace. He went helmet to helmet there. And they had a fumble in that situation. But again, that penalty cost them another 15 more yards. Ultimately, Robbie Gould kicked a field goal and put the Niners up 17-3. But they wasted away clock. Philadelphia had to use all 3 of their timeouts in that particular spot. But the Eagles got the ball back, and they scored quick. A few scrambles by Jalen Hurts put them in position. And ultimately, Hurts put it away with quarterback sneak to put the Eagles in position. And then they were going for 2 in that particular situation. When they went for 2 in that spot, I was like, what are they going for 2 for? It doesn't really make sense. I mean, you put yourself in position now if you kick the extra point, 17-10, 7 points away. But Philadelphia went for 2. They got the 2-point conversion. And ultimately, they did not get the football back as the 49ers were able to get a first down and put the football game away, whittle it away, and the San Francisco 49ers are now 2-0. Philadelphia 1-1 in a game that the Eagles should have won. Should have won this game. Should have won this game. And again, this is the difference. This is what teams do. 49ers did not play their best football today. They didn't. They didn't play their best football, but they got the victory. And that's a sign of a good football team. Where you're not at your best, when you're not playing good football, when you look vulnerable, but you find a way, you find the moment, you find an opportunity, you find the time to make the plays necessary to get your team a victory. And that's what the 49ers did today. And that's what the Eagles didn't do. That's what they didn't do today. This was a drag it out, fight it out game, a physical game. You got to love the defenses. Both defenses came to play, brought their hard hats. And the Philadelphia Eagles, their defense blinked. And ultimately, you got to give credit to the 49ers offense as well, because they were able to cash in the red zone. You got to cash in when you have that moment, that time, and that opportunity. That's what the 49ers did. They had that moment, they had that time, they had that opportunity, and they made it work. They cashed in, and that's what it's all about. You cashing in. 49ers 2 for 2 in the red zone. Philadelphia 1 for 2 in the red zone. The difference in the football game. You cash in when you have an opportunity to cash in. When you have an opportunity to get that paper, when you got an opportunity to get that gold, to get that green, to get that 6, you got to do it. And that's what the 49ers did more often than the Philadelphia Eagles did today. And that's why the 49ers are 2-0. And that's why the Philadelphia Eagles are 1-1. You look at the sequence there in that first half. Let's go back to the first half. Philadelphia, big bomb to Quez Watkins. Philadelphia backed up. Hurts to Watkins. Quez Watkins looks like a home run hitter. He's got home run hitting ability. He makes big plays, and he has big plays written all over him. He's a guy that's going to make a lot of big plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, long plays. This guy is a home run hitter. He got speed for days. So Philadelphia, they backed up, and they throw it long all the way to Quez Watkins, 91 yards. He gets all the way down to the 49ers 6-yard line. So 1st and goal at the 6. So let's look at it. 1st and goal at the 6 for the Philadelphia Eagles at that moment, at that time. And let's just share the screen real quick so we can look at it and look at each play that they ran in that particular spot. So 1st and goal at the 6. They had the penalty of Seumalo. All right, they go back up. Second down, shotgun, incomplete pass to Gainwell. Another incomplete pass to Devontae Smith in the end zone, but it was a pass interference play. That put the ball at the 1. 1st and goal at the 1, a play action situation. Hurts tries to get it to Ertz. Incomplete situation. 2nd and goal at the 1. Miles Sanders loses 3. 3rd and goal at the 1. It looked like a design quarterback run for Jalen Hurts on the outside. He got back down to the 49ers 3-yard line after a 1-yard gain. And then on 4th and 3 or 4th and goal from the 3-yard line, a Philly special. Philadelphia rolled out the Philly special. And it was special in Super Bowl 52 when Trey Burton hit Nick Foles for the touchdown. But Trey Burton is not walking through that door. Nick Foles is not walking through that door. I believe both are in Chicago. I know Nick Foles is in Chicago. I think Trey Burton in Chicago as well. He may have went somewhere else. Might be in Minnesota, I think. But anyway, it was a situation. Greg Ward, quarterback at college at Houston. Greg Ward got the toss. Greg Ward throws, it hurt the 49ers. First of all, give the 49ers credit because they sniffed out the play. They had the play well guarded, well protected. They knew what was going on for the most part. And again, Greg Ward had nowhere to throw the football. He threw it pretty much in the back of the end zone when Hurts had no opportunity. No one had an opportunity to make a play in that particular situation. San Francisco holds Philadelphia, wasted opportunity, wasted moment, wasted time, and that was it. And then credit to the 49ers. They now get the ball back. And then again, getting the ball back, the 49ers matriculated the ball down the field, a 97-yard drop. 49ers with a monster 97-yard drive. Philadelphia had an opportunity actually to get off the field on that 3rd down to George Kittle. Broke a tackle from Alex Singleton, and it got him on Yak Boys. Those Yak Boys, right? Those Rack Boys, those run after the catch boys, the 49ers. And again, Kittle broke a tackle, got the first down for the 49ers and ultimately kept that drive alive. And again, 49ers had a big completion to Deebo Samuel that got them down close, and ultimately they cashed in. And again, before that drive, Philadelphia had outgained the 49ers 204-64 before that last drive by the 49ers before halftime that put them up on that gave them the lead. Philadelphia outscored them outgained them 204-64. So you had an opportunity in that spot, in that situation, that moment, that time, and you did not cash in. You got to do it. Look, if you're playing a bad football team, and there's if this was the Atlanta Falcons, if you're the Eagles and you had all that yardage but didn't score any points, you still have an opportunity because the Falcons are not as good of a football team as the San Francisco 49ers. But when you have the San Francisco 49ers, who appear to be one of the better football teams in this league, and you have an opportunity to cash in and you don't do it, well, guess what? You're going to look back with this in disappointment. You're going to look back dismayed, upset, and angry because you had opportunities to win this game and you didn't do it. And you let a team like the 49ers who weren't playing good football, you let them hang around. You let them hang around and hang around and hang around. And they were good enough where they snatched it and got the game and got this victory. So, again, against a team that's not as good, you could do something like that. You could have all those yardage and not score touchdowns and possibly win a game. But against a team like the 49ers, you can't do that. You cannot do that. And ultimately, the Philadelphia Eagles did that. And because they did that, they lost this football game. Now, we could talk about the play calls by Nicky Sirianni there in that particular spot there. You know, first and goal at the 1. I mean, they tried to get him on a play action. I mean, I don't have a big issue with that. I mean, you tried to get him on a play action situation. It didn't work. You tried. But, you know, you could argue with the ability that Hurts has and the ability that Miles Sanders has that from first and goal at the 1 that you run the football. And Philadelphia did have some decent success on the ground today. I mean, Jalen Hurts had 82 yards, but, you know, Miles Sanders was running the football pretty well. 13 for 55, not bad. I mean, he had some decent rushes for the Eagles. And so you could have theoretically handed the ball off to Miles Sanders in that spot, in that situation, and let him do his thing. But they didn't do it. They went play action on that first pass. They did go to Miles Sanders. They ran the ball on that second down, and Miles Sanders lost 3 yards there. And then ultimately, again, they got stopped on third. And then again, they went for it, which I had no problem with them going forward on fourth and goal from the 3-yard line. I had no issue with that. They tried to cash in. They tried to get a touchdown. You get a touchdown in that spot, I mean, that's a different ball game, right? You get a touchdown in that particular situation, it's a different ball game. It's a different ball game in that particular spot if they get that particular touchdown. And you could argue that it could be a situation where Philadelphia may have won that game if they get that stop, if they get that touchdown in that spot. But they didn't, and now Philadelphia again loses. So now the Eagles at 1-1, they got the Cowboys. They got to go to Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. The hated Cowboys. The Philadelphia Eagles now have to go there to Dallas, Week 3, Monday Night Football, which is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's an NFC East game. I mean, the teams may not be what the NFC East teams have been in the past over the years, you know, when this rivalry was really good. But again, the NFC East is what it is. And I'm not saying Dallas is not a good football team at this point, but it's looking like they're going to be just okay this season. It looks like the NFC East, again, is going to be one of those divisions where it's going to be winnable for all the teams involved. Cowboys are actually up 7-0 at this point. But it seems like it's going to be a winnable situation for all teams involved. Giants, Washington, and the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. It looks like, you know, last year Washington was able to get to the playoffs, but they weren't very good. And whoever won that division wasn't very good. So, I mean, that's just the reality of that spot and that situation. So now the Eagles coming off a loss. I mean, the Eagles now have an opportunity to get right against the Cowboys. We'll see what that looks like. We'll see if they can get that right and get that the where it needs to be and where it needs to go. So we have TFJ Boxing. I appreciate it, TFJ Boxing. Okay, appreciate that. So you look at it, and again. If we look at this Eagles team, if they can find a way now going forward, I mean, Jalen Hurts has to be a little better. And here's also the thing: this is Jalen Hurts, what, sixth start in the NFL? His sixth start in the NFL. So this is your sixth start in the National Football League, and you haven't started a game. I mean, you started only 4 games, I should say, last season, and again, this is your second start this season, so 6 games, man. So this guy has. There's going to be some good moments, like we saw last week against the Atlanta Falcons. There's going to be some not so good moments. He was just okay today. Missed some throws today. I mean, he had decent time for the most part. He did a lot of things damage toward his legs. And, when you have scrambling ability like Jalen Hurts, you're going to be able to do a lot of things with your legs, and your legs are going to be able to help you out of a lot of different situations. So Jalen Hurts is a guy who's able to do it with his legs, has the ability to do it with his legs, and it helped him. I mean, it helped him on that drive where the Eagles scored a touchdown there to make it 17-11. Him using his legs, him, getting out there and using his legs and putting his team in position to score on that drive. He had some decent runs on that drive. And that, him using his legs in that spot helped the Eagles to score in that particular drive. And again, his legs are going to help. They're going to help him this season as he learns to play quarterback in the National Football League. It's a process. Not many people just come out here and just be big time, quarterbacks out the gate. It just doesn't necessarily happen. It don't happen that way. I mean, Hurts on that drive where the Eagles scored their only touchdown in the game had a 9-yard run. Then he came back with a 27-yard run, which was aided also by a 15-yard penalty that put the Eagles in position. He threw a pass to Dallas Goedert that got him to the 1, and ultimately he put it through with a quarterback sneak that put the Eagles in position to possibly win the game. But again, they couldn't stop the 49ers, couldn't get them off the field. Make sure you check out TFJ Boxing, great YouTube channel. Got a lot of great boxing over there, boxing talk over there. So make sure you check that beautiful channel out. But so for the Philadelphia Eagles, man, I mean, at this point, it's a young football team. This is a young football team, a young quarterback, a young coach in Nicky Sirianni, who is going to make his mistakes, who is going to learn, hopefully, from these mistakes. And you got a young quarterback who's going to make his mistakes. And they're going to have to learn from their mistakes. He's going to have to learn from his mistakes. Here's also the thing, right? We've been knocking Howie Roseman. We've been knocking Howie Roseman in terms of a lot of different things. In terms of his drafting, I mean, Andre Dillard, Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over D.K. Metcalf. We've been knocking Howie Roseman in terms of some of the moves that he's made in the draft. But let me say this. If Jordan Mailata, who the Eagles gave a bunch of money to, left tackle, if Jordan Mailata turns out to be a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle, obviously the potential is there. They paid him, so they believe the potential is there. So if Jordan Mailata has the goods, if Jalen Hurts turns out to have the goods, well, there you have it. You have a franchise quarterback and you have a left tackle for the next 10 to 12 years. So if Howie Roseman hits on Mailata, what it appears he has, they paid him the money, so they believe they have, and then Jalen Hurts turns out to be the quarterback who they believe he can be or who they thought he could be when they selected him in the second round, it looks good for Howie Roseman. And, all the Howie bashing, which is legitimate, it's very legitimate. I mean, but if he finds a way to turn that around and find a way with a Jalen Hurts, with a Jordan Mailata, well, guess what? We got to give Howie his credit. We got to give Howie his props. And we got to celebrate Howie Roseman. We got to celebrate him. If those two things do come to pass, Jordan Mailata becomes an all-pro, becomes a big-time left tackle, and if Jalen Hurts becomes a big-time quarterback. We got to give Howie his props because, look, here's the thing. Howie obviously knew something in terms of Carson Wentz. I mean, Carson Wentz, I believe, got hurt today, hurt his ankle today. But Howie Roseman knew something about Carson Wentz. The organization knew something about Carson Wentz. They knew that this guy, for whatever reason, is not going to stay healthy. He has issues staying healthy, and he will always have issues staying healthy. It just appears to be who he is as a player, as a quarterback in the National Football League. It's just the reality of the situation. So he found a way. Okay, you know what? Jalen Hurts is available in the second round. No one expected Jalen Hurts to be selected by the Eagles. Philadelphia selects Jalen Hurts in the second round. And then ultimately, in selecting Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles may have found their quarterback of the future. I mean, week 1 was good. Week 2, just okay. Not bad, but not good at all. Just okay. Average. Very average today for Jalen Hurts. Slightly below average. Again, you can't be 11 for 23 in terms of, passing the football, 190 yards. But outside of that long pass to Quez Watkins, 99 yards in passing for Jalen Hurts. Outside of that long bomb to Quez Watkins. So, again, you look at this Eagles football team, you look at this team and where they at this point. Let's see where they're at, pretty much where they stand at this point, 12 for 23 for Hurts, but pretty much where they stand at this point. Philadelphia has a very good defense, it appears. After 2 weeks, it appears they have a very good defense. It appears they have a decent, obviously the defensive line was going to be good. After 2 weeks, it appears they have a very good offensive line. That appears to be true. After 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts, one good game in week 1, one very average game in week 2. Jalen Hurts, again, is a work in progress, but I'm liking what I'm seeing more than I'm not liking what I'm seeing, if that makes sense. So, and they appear to have some playmakers in terms of the Quez Watkins, who appears to be a home run hitter at this point. Devontae Smith, very quiet day, but he appears to be the best wide receiver on this team in terms of his route running, his ability to get open, his ability to make plays. So after 2 weeks, I like the defense. I like the trenches. And here's the thing in the National Football League. Here's the thing in football in general. Football is won in the trenches. It's won in the trenches. On the offensive line, the Eagles appear to have a very good offensive line. Brandon Brooks situation, pectoral issue, injury. We don't know what that's going to be. Hopefully it's something that he can recover from. But if it's torn, he's probably done for the year. I'm not saying it's torn. I don't know if it's torn. I don't know anything about it at this point. All I'm saying is if it's torn, he's probably done. But let's hope he's not. I mean, the issue with Brandon Brooks is his ability to stay on the field, and he has a lot of issues in terms of staying on the field. That's just the reality when it comes to Brandon Brooks. So obviously, you're going to have an issue there if Brandon Brooks is out for an extended period of time. But Landon Dickerson did get some action, and the Eagles appear to be very high on Landon Dickerson. He got a guy that tore his ACL last year at Alabama, but if he's healthy, he's a guy that may have the goods. So if he's healthy and Brandon Brooks is out for an extended period of time, well, you can slide him in there. Maybe you don't lose much. We'll see. But that offensive line, the trenches for the Philadelphia Eagles appear to be where this team can have a lot of success. And if your trenches are good, obviously the game is won in the trenches. So if your trenches are good, well, you have shots and opportunities to win football games. And again, Jalen Hurts had time today. So Philadelphia, if the trenches stay the way they are, which is solid in terms of on the defensive line and on the offensive line, then this is a team that's going to be in a lot of football games. And now, as they go forward, and again, Hurts is going to grow, hopefully, for this team. Hopefully. I mean, that's the goal. But again, here's also the reality of the situation. Jalen Hurts is on the clock. Because if the Philadelphia Eagles don't have a good season, it's going to be on Jalen. Jalen Hurts is probably going to be done. I don't think if the Philadelphia Eagles struggle this year, Jalen Hurts is not going to have a job with this team next year. Because Philadelphia is going to have a high pick, and they're going to go after a quarterback, more than likely. If they have any questions about Hurts, they're going after a quarterback next season. I think it's that simple. But we'll see what happens. A lot of football left, but again, they travel to Dallas next week against the Cowboys. It won't be easy. I mean, Dallas is a team right now leading the Los Angeles Chargers at this point 7-3, and they have the ball, and I believe they're deep in Chargers territory, so they have an opportunity to go 14-3. So that's a team. Dallas is a team offensively that's going to give teams problems. Dallas is going to be a very good offensive team. That defense is a little shaky in Dallas. So there you have it. The final score, the 49ers 17, the Philadelphia Eagles 11. 49ers go to 2-0. Philadelphia falls to 1-1. Also, some news before we get out of here. Again, Brandon Graham possibly out for the season. Well, if it's Achilles is torn, which is being reported by Jeff McClain and also Derek Gunn, if that is true, what's being reported, he's out for the year. There's no maybe out for the year. He's out for the year. So that is something that is obviously going to be a killer. Let's go to the tweet, McClain's tweet. Again, if Brandon Graham could be out, could have a torn Achilles. That's the reporting right now that's out there. Again, from a guy who has torn his Achilles, I knew what that looked like when I saw it. I tore my Achilles 4 years ago, and it was just a non-contact situation. Playing basketball, non-contact situation, it just went. And that's what Brandon Graham, that's what it looked like. It was a non-contact situation. That Achilles looked like it just went. And ultimately, it's being reported by Derek Gunn, by Jeff McClain, that Brandon Graham is out for the year with a torn Achilles. Again, he's 33 years old. So, that's a career-threatening injury. And guys sometimes don't come back the way they were before the injury. So that is something to keep in mind as we go forth. You look at the Eagles, he's a leader of that team, a leader of that defense, a leader of that a leader for that team. And not having him on the football field going forward is definitely going to hurt this football team. It's going to hurt this defensive line. It's going to hurt all aspects of this team. And again, hopefully, it's not torn. Hopefully, it's not as bad as they think it is. But you can pretty much diagnose that without even doing an MRI. I mean, when I went to the doctor, they looked at it. They pretty much said, hey, I think it's torn. And that was before the MRI. The MRI just pretty much confirmed where everything was and where they needed to do the surgery, what parts they needed to repair and things of that nature. But they kind of knew before MRI or anything that it was torn. You can look at it and you can do various exercises to see if the thing is torn. And this thing is torn. Mine was torn, and it appears that Brandon Graham's might be torn as well. So Eagles fall to the 49ers, 17-11. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and support everything going on here at Go For Radio. We'll be back, maybe not next week, but the week after that, as the Eagles to go to Dallas next week and Monday Night Football. But we won't be here for that, but we will be back the following week after that on Sunday when the Eagles, after they hopefully beat the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, we'll be back after that the following week in week number 4. And we'll see what the Philadelphia Eagles will do as they go forward. But week 4 against the Kansas City Chiefs. So you look at this situation. I mean, you go to Dallas. I mean, that's not going to be easy. You could be 1-2 after that. Then you go to you have Kansas City at home, and we know what the Chiefs are. So you could be 1-3 after 3 weeks of football. So I mean, that is something to look out as well. That's why winning this game was even more important. You could be 1-3 after 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, if you're the Eagles. So we'll see what happens going forward. All right, everybody, we're out of here. See you later.